So there is an update in the Idaho 4 Moscow murders with regards to the restitution issue that I had previously posted a video about before, and they had a hearing on it. So here are my notes from that hearing, in case you didn't watch it or don't want to. Let me break it down for you. So Barlow, Taylor, and Masseth, the attorneys for Bryan Kohberger, were present in his presence because they didn't transfer him from jail to come to this hearing. And Thompson, solo by himself, was there for the prosecution. So basically, the state screwed up one thing. So the state originally thought that the Crime Victims Compensation Fund could reimburse the family for travel expenses, all the families. Then the state later realized it cannot. The law only allows them to cover certain kinds of expenses, but not travel expenses. So the state basically told the families, don't worry about, you're going to get reimbursed, etc. if you pay out of pocket for that. And that wasn't the case. Although this was a horrible misunderstanding with regards to the victims' families, this misunderstanding does not invalidate the plea agreement. The plea agreement is looked at as a contract and it's still active. It's not null and void because of this. So originally they were trying to ask for the travel expenses to be reimbursed by Bryan, but then I think that's why the defense was fighting this, because he's claiming that they got enough money from the GoFundMes that they had started, over $200,000 worth, and therefore they don't need him to reimburse for those type of expenses. They have since changed it to being just for the urns expense, that falls underneath the funeral costs that he did agree to pay for. So travel, they're dropping that. Urns, they're including it now, and they want restitution for it. The judge's core legal issue was that the plea is a legal binding contract. A unilateral mistake or one misunderstanding, in essence, does not invalidate that contract. Meaning that even though the state told the families wrong information about the crime fund, the plea agreement is still enforceable. Now we go to the issue of ability to pay. It was clarified that ability to pay is a factor, but it's not a block to pay. Meaning that if Bryan Kohberger cannot pay now, that it doesn't mean that the court cannot order restitution. The judge has to consider the following when making his decision regarding this. Bryan Kohberger has had monies on his books in the past. He may get money in the future in forms of like inheritance, sympathetic public sending money, etc. If the future money comes in, the restitution would intercept it. The defense is saying that that's speculation, and that all Bryan's money has come to him so far has been from family, and that they pointed out a part of the plea agreement is that he is barred from making money or profiting off of any kind of movies, books, or social media, anything regarding that type of production type of things he cannot profit off of. The state is saying the ability to pay later is relevant. Now here is a potentially stronger argument for the defense. Instead of the ability to pay, the issue that I believe has a little bit more legal standing is the timeline factor. The defense argues that they received the receipts for the urns after the deadline. There was a 60-day window for the plea that allowed for receipts to be submitted for expenses to be reimbursed, and it did not come within that 60-day timeline. And so their argument is that the urn did not come in timely enough, so therefore it should be excluded. Now, the judge did corner the defense, saying that Bryan Kohberger did agree to not argue anything with regards to the restitution as part of his plea agreement. So his question was, why are you contesting the urn cost? So the defense said, we're only contesting the urn expense because of it falling outside of the timeliness or timeline that was given, and we're not saying that Bryan Kohberger will not pay the restitution of what he's required to, or pay for the expenses for the funerals at all. So to round it out, sum it up, the state originally thought that the Crime Victims Fund would reimburse the family for their travel expenses, but that legally turned out to be wrong, and so now they are seeking restitution for the urns. And the fight is about whether Bryan should have to pay for said receipt for the urns, taking into factor that it came in after the 60-day deadline, and also his lack of ability to pay. So it's kind of null and void, because in the sense that I get what they're saying, if something comes in that they can take from, it's worth the fight right now to to get that. But if, for the most part, a lot of defendants don't have money to pay this, that obviously they have no ability to pay, which is what the part that's in contest right now, is because Bryan is going to be in prison forever. He's not going to be able to get out soon or get a job or, be able to pay back that restitution. So it's kind of like it's more of a symbolic thing than it is really a realistic thing that's going to happen. So I'm not really sure why he's contesting it. I get the legal reason of it coming after the deadline and that he doesn't have the ability to pay. But I mean, he is already responsible for over $28,000 that he has to pay them anyway, that he's not going to be able to pay a cent of anyway. So that's what I got from that. Make sure you like and subscribe and keep up to date on this case. We do have updates here and there because things are being trickled out over time. So make sure you follow Blahgergirl. I'm on YouTube as well. And thanks for watching.